Hey guys, what's going on? Timberzik here. It's been a minute, been like almost a year or something since I made a video. But I really can't be quiet here. I'm gonna be making this video because I'm kind of annoyed and tired of people running their mouth on Twitter and YouTube and whatever about aim assist and how it's busted and all this stuff. And this all came about because 3for3 and their Twitter account, they posted on there along with Tashi, who is like the head guy of esports for Halo Infinite, and he was for Halo 5. I'm not sure about Halo 4, but and MCC. So he's been there for a while, and he was answering people's concerns and everything. And so this video is also for people that play on PC. And if you didn't know, they are combining the Xbox esports with the PC esports when Halo Infinite comes out. That means if you go to a tournament, there's going to be Xbox, console players versus PC players. The thing that doesn't really make sense and is confusing is, let's say that you were already a pro, or somehow you've landed on a team that is already in the championship bracket. You're fine if you play on PC. You can stay on PC and it's going to be all good. The thing that is kind of like, what is, if you play in the open bracket, everyone in the open bracket is going to have to play on the Xbox Series X at 120 frames per second, where on PC it will probably run at least at like 200 or something like that. I'm not sure the actual specifics on that, but yeah, Tashi didn't really go into detail why that is, but that's how they're going to do it. I don't know if they just don't have enough PCs for everybody or what, but yeah, that's a little strange. Now that I can agree that's kind of BS for the PC players, that they're gonna have to drop down what's that 80 frames to play on the Xbox Series X, and they're not used to that and whatever. So I guess you're just gonna bring your keyboard and mouse, plug it into the USB port on the Xbox Series X, and just play. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. But the thing that I do not agree with, is that Xbox and PC should have their own esports scene. I don't agree with that at all. And the reason I don't agree with that is because we want to know who the best players are in the world. We don't want to know who the best Xbox players or the best PC players are. We want to know who's the best in the world. And what happened here is this brought up an argument with the Xbox players and the PC players. PC players are saying that aim assist is broken. It's aimbotting. It's, you can pretty much hit every shot no matter what. And then you've got the Xbox players who are saying, okay, well, you've got your mouse, which can, once you pick up the sniper, you're going to be blending for days. And even if you don't have a sniper, you have a BR or whatever weapon, you're not going to miss, because a mouse is more specific and more precise than a controller, which is true. It really is. So both have their strengths and weaknesses, and it's balanced because of that. I will never forget when Halo finally came on a PC, and especially specifically Halo Reach, when it came over to PC, and you had Shroud and Dr. Disrespect and Summit come over to play it among other people, and they played, and everything was going fine, and then all of a sudden the controller players or the Xbox players were shitting all over these well-known people that are pretty good at shooting games with mouse and keyboard. And instead of them saying, oh, GG, or whatever, or instead of them saying, wow, I've got a lot to learn about this game. I need to learn the maps. I need to learn when rockets or sniper come up. I need to learn positioning. I need to learn the choke points. I need to know, when to go bottom mid, when to get top control, and all that stuff, when to push. When I was watching their streams, I watched a decent amount of them play, and they were just like mindlessly playing, like they didn't know what the heck, they didn't care what they were doing, they didn't know what they were doing. Anyway, but they were just using the excuse, oh my god, I just got crapped on because I just got 4-shotted by this guy when I had already 2 shots on him, because he's not missing because it clips onto him. When that's not even how aim assist works at all. If it did, we wouldn't have so many people on controller just missing every single shot. It's not a crutch. It's a necessity for controller players. If controller players did not have aim assist, it'd be just like trying to betray your teammates on, Call of Duty, Gears of War, or in Halo. You just, how many shots are you going to hit on your teammates? It's not easy, and without aim assist, you're just not going to hit shots. And that's why it's a necessity. You know, you have to move your left joystick and your right joystick, you know, together in synchronicity, and it's not easy, especially when you're strafing and the other player is strafing and you're trying to, you know, outplay them. To move both those joysticks and to shoot and to have your finger on the jump button and all that stuff and a whole bunch of different elements go into it. It's not easy, and the PC players don't understand that. And I don't really know how they can make the claim that you know, aim assist is broken and all that stuff when a lot of them haven't even played on console, especially Shroud. You know, not only did he, you know, complain about aim assist and all that stuff when he was playing in Halo Reach when it first came to PC, but when they had a couple months ago, I think it was AT&T had their tournament. I think it was Twitch Rivals or something, where one team has like a pro on it and then 3 other like personalities. So one team had Shroud on it with I forget the people, and then you had Snipe Down, and he was playing with some people and all, and that's not really here nor there, but he was complaining again about the game. He was saying Halo sucks. You know, arena shooters are boring and all this stuff because he's used to CS:GO, Rainbow Six, Valorant, any tactical shooter, because that's what he plays. Me personally, I don't like tactical shooters. I think they're boring. You know, I like the fast-paced arena shooters. I like Call of Duty. I like Gears of War. I like Halo. I like pushing. I don't like sitting in one spot. You know, like PUBG, I think it's boring. I don't have fun. I fall asleep. I like action. You know, I like, you know, pushing, getting the flag, capping it, and then you just don't stop. You have to keep or you're always doing something. You know, where I watch PUBG or Valorant and they're looking through this window, and then they're looking through that window, and then they're checking out their gun, and then they're going back to looking at that window. Like, the duration where there's no action in a tactical shooter is just, it's asinine. It really is. It's crazy. I don't understand how people enjoy that stuff. Maybe they enjoy chess. I don't know. But anyways, I've already seen this video, but this video that I'm making here is half a response to what I've been seeing on Twitter and half a response to this video. And when I'm about to talk, I'm just going to pause it and give my 2 cents. And this is coming from somebody who's been playing on controller for 25 years. I've been playing video games on controller. I've tried a keyboard and a mouse. My hands do not like it. I've tried multiple times to switch over. No, I was just trying it out. I wasn't trying to switch. I mean, if I liked it, I might have switched. I don't know, but I was just trying it out, and my hands would just cramp. It didn't feel good. Like, when I have a controller in my hands, I feel like I have a gun in my hands. You know, it feels nice. But like, when I have a mouse and keyboard, it doesn't it doesn't feel right. It really doesn't. The WASD, sprinting with, you know, controller shift or whatever, I don't like it. But I tried Destiny. I played H1Z1 a lot on PC, and even with mouse and keyboard, and you know, it's really easy to hit your shots with a mouse. It really is. I'm not saying that it doesn't take skill, but it's very precise. Especially on, you know, I played Destiny, I played Halo, and some other game, but yeah, it's a lot easier than it is on a controller, I'll tell you that much. PC players would have a hell of a hard time switching over to console and controller than a console controller player would be switching over to PC. I mean, there's already tons of pros and people that not necessarily compete on freaking, you know, PC with the mouse and the keyboard, but when they tried it out, they were, you know, it didn't take them long to do the switch, and, you know, they were just crapping all over people. Of course, when tournament came around, they would switch the controller, but, you know, they were just showing that it wasn't hard at all. It's not as hard as the PC players think it is. So anyway, we're gonna get this video underway. I'm not sure I'm gonna be watching the whole 20 minutes. Probably gonna skip it a little bit here, but let's get into it. I can't do full screen for some reason because my software lags, so we're just gonna watch it in the little video box here, and yeah, let's get it going.
He's cheating! He's cheating!
He knows. Oh, we got him.
He's cheating.
We got that son of a bitch.
No, that's Triggerbot! That's Triggerbot as... There it is!
The amount of times that someone would be would be trying to say that a controller player is cheating when they're actually just using controller and they thought they had aimbot is just crazy to me.
Go on.
We got him!
Now, what if I told you that the cheater in question wasn't
A little disclaimer: this guy right here is gonna be shitting all over controller players the whole entire video.
using aim lock? What if I told you that they were totally above board, had no third-party software installed, and were simply being offered a little bit of in-client assistance? All because they're using a controller.
Controllers. Easy, man. You don't even have to aim.
My guy's literally
It's not
looking
easy.
left and right as Cypher's moving left and right, and it's
The thing that people forget is the aim assist for every game is not the same. You know, especially Halos. When Halo 5 came out, they turned down the sensitivity, not the sensitivity, but the aim assist. And Halo Infinite feels maybe even a little less than Halo 5, or maybe the same. But each game is different. Each game is going to have more or less aim assist. They're not always going to be the same.
following him.
Now more than ever, with crossplay on the rise and battle royales becoming some of the biggest titles in gaming, the controversial controller-centric mechanic known as aim assist is facing tons of scrutiny. Some feel very strongly that it has no place in a competitive shooter.
So if a mouse and keyboard isn't fair against a controller, or vice versa,
It is fair.
because they both have their pros and cons,
They do.
they shouldn't exist in the same world.
Others, however,
That's so
genuinely don't see what the big deal is.
The majority of these players that make any success are on keyboard and mouse. So what does it matter? Just let the controller players exist.
Well, that's not true either. It may seem that way because the PC players are going to be more in the limelight because PC is more popular than console, but console players see just as much success as PC players, and we've seen that with Call of Duty on PlayStation. We've seen that with Gears of War and Halo on Xbox and other games.
So let's air this shit out once and for all.
Let's not forget the insane amount of people that are pro in Rocket League on PC that use controller. Let's not forget about the amount of people that play Apex on controller and they're pro.
Because the question isn't
And they
as
shit all
simple
over
as
PC players.
is aim assist cheating?
That are on
It's
mouse and keyboard.
even if it is, can we ever actually get rid of it?
No, it's a fundamental.
All right, fellow cracked fiends. Crackheads. Nope. Man, there's just no way to endearingly refer to our fans that does not carry some real negative energy. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
That's all I wanted. We should take a second to answer the very reasonable question that I'm sure all of the League players out there have, which is, what in the flying f*** is aim assist? It's quite simple, actually. Aim assist is a decades-old mechanic that makes it so that once your crosshair has come within a certain proximity of an enemy target, it automatically tracks said target.
Huh? Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna correct him in a minute.
This
Now,
guy.
before y'all start-
so it's like you have devil's advocate here, because that guy they just showed is going to be on the controller side, and this guy's on the mouse keyboard side.
Cracking quips about aim hacks and whatnot, we should also take a second to answer yet another very reasonable question, which is, how did aim...
The amount of skill that comes into play when using a controller, and where they just showed how it snaps onto somebody, it doesn't snap onto someone. First of all, it depends on what your sensitivity is. I play on fast sensitivity no matter what game I play. That's just how I am. And in Halo, I usually play on 7, which is pretty fast. And the skill comes into play when that cursor is almost at the aim assist bubble for when the aim assist is going to start tugging on that cursor. The skill comes into play when you hit the guy with your cursor, and to not go past that, to stop moving your right thumbstick, which is used for aiming. That's where the skill comes in. And you also, aim assist does not tell your gun which part of the body of the enemy that you're shooting to shoot. You have to aim at the head yourself.
aim assist come to exist in the first place? And look, I know what you're thinking. Like all of gaming's infernal annoyances, aim assist must have been pioneered on the cesspool that is console, right?
Nope.
Well, as it turns out, yes? I mean, kind of.
No.
You see, technically, you can find early traces of aim assist in the original Doom, which, for all you Zoomers out there,
Aim assist was always on PC before it was ever on console. Obviously, video games started on PC, and they were on PC for at least 20 years before console got video games.
is basically the rock on which the church of first-person shooters was built. Since you could only aim sideways, your reticle would actually snap to enemies below ledges.
Well, I guess technically, I mean, it is aim assist, but not in the traditional
But it
way
wasn't until the advent of the Nintendo 64 and the release of such foundational titles as GoldenEye, Duke Nukem 0 Hour, and Perfect Dark that aim assist was thrust into the hands of every wide-eyed, cross-legged, basement-dwelling runt in the known universe. And yes, it was beyond broken. But that was okay. Because aside from some casual
I never really
split-screen
played Nintendo 64,
multiplayer,
so I can't
it was
speak on
always
that.
being used against NPCs.
Maybe it was broken.
Headshot. Take that. See, why can't COD be that easy at aiming?
The issue, of course, is that eventually humans entered the mix, like in Halo. Now,
Wasn't
as it turns out, the way that aim assist functions in Master Chief's floaty funhouse of stick-steered destruction is actually kind of complicated. And admittedly, I have no idea how it works. Mostly because I don't care. It just so happens that Colton is...
Isn't that funny? How like somebody will like talk shit about controller players using aim assist, and then they don't care to understand what aim assist actually is. It's funny.
a seasoned former Halo player, competitor, person? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna hop on Twitter real quick while he explains to you how this mechanic that we in Counter-Strike refer to as cheating became referred to in console communities as competing.
Someone needs to teach that kid some respect. Aim assist isn't just the game automatically moving your reticle onto the enemy's head. There's a lot more subtlety here. And who better to break it all down than the resident Halo nerd? In Halo CE, and across most controller FPS games, there are two systems at work: bullet magnetism and aim assist. Bullet magnetism is the game shifting the projectile or hit scan impact point from the center of your crosshair closer to an enemy, while aim assist is the slowing of the crosshair movement as it passes over an enemy player. Across different FPS games, there's a lot of nuance in how these two systems are implemented, especially
Usually people don't say bullet magnetism, they say hitbox, but it's the same.
from the pioneers over at Bungie. Aim assist and bullet magnetism are adjusted on each weapon individually, from the range that it kicks in to whether it happens at all, like the sniper rifle, which has no aim assist when descoped, but has an extremely long aim assist range when scoped. These systems, and the fact that at the end of the day you still have to consistently get your reticle to the enemy player, something Dimitri struggles with daily in CS, are a part of the beautifully high skill ceiling in Halo CE. Even among the best players in the world, there was an
Yeah, and then that's another thing, is that before aim assist even takes effect, we, the controller players, have to still get our reticle on the person's head.
obvious skill gap when
not
it
as
came
easy
to
as it
aiming
sounds.
prowess. So just because the game is helping you doesn't mean your own hand-eye and game sense wasn't a huge factor. Controller phenoms like Clockwork and the Ogre Twins to snipe down an I Got Your Pistola have created some of the hypest moments that the burgeoning NA esports scene has ever seen. So maybe check yourself a bit before you go devaluing console pros' undeniable talent. There's a reason these guys are winning majors and you're talking about it in front of a camera. Dimitri.
Yep.
Is he done? He is? Oh, thank God. Okay. Now, it goes without saying that back in the day when consoles were on the come up, and you know, actually cool, the introduction of aim assist made a ton of sense. Anyone who grew up in the 90s can attest to this. Have you ever tried aiming with an N64 controller? It feels like you're playing video games with a f***ing bop it.
High score 37. Bop it. Pull it.
Even as dual analog sticks became the norm, it remained very obvious that maintaining precise pinpoint accuracy with a controller just wasn't ideal. Aiming solely using one's thumbs could be clunky and chaotic, so an in-client assist was both an elegant and intuitive solution.
on, man. Man, aim assist off.
Okay, look. You all knew this was coming, so let's just get it out of the way. Is the mouse a definitively better input device when it comes to any video game that involves raw, unassisted aiming?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Cry all you want. It's a fact. You don't even have to take my word for it. Just consult a study. Or, wink wink, ask our resident grip guru, Garrick Foreman, who you may remember from our mouse grip episode, and is currently completing his PhD in ergonomics and neuromechanics at Brock University.
When you're using a mouse, you have 3 major joints, so your shoulder, elbow, and wrist, that can all make adjustments to perfect your aim. Just all together in the form, you have so many muscles and joints to be able to get precise aim. You have a ton of muscles that are doing very specific, fine functions, very fine movements, and they can kind of play off each other and cycle off if they start to get tired, whereas you don't have that in the hand.
Yep.
Especially in the thumb, you don't have, the thumb basically is like the opposite to what I said. It basically has one muscle that performs each movement. So if you're playing for hours just using your thumb and that muscle starts to get tired, you're going to be played worse.
According to Garrick, there's just this plainly scientific sense in which aiming
So basically, PC players will always be able to outlast controller players.
solely using one's thumbs will just never be as easy or efficient as using the sort of combo that is the shoulder, elbow, wrist trifecta.
Yep.
But in that sense, yes, I think it's much easier to aim with mouse keyboard than it is with a controller, just because of how much more functional tissue you have using the mouse. You have just so much muscle mass.
The end of this video really pisses me off.
Because you have 3 joints too.
We'll watch the whole thing.
It also
I don't care how
allows you to correct for errors at any one of those joints. So if you are making any kind of error at your shoulder joint, you can correct with it at your elbow a little bit. You can definitely correct for it at your wrist. So that's really the benefit of using the wrist, and why it's such an important part of the body is it's the end effector of anything you're doing. So the wrist, it basically corrects for any kind of errors that are introduced to the function higher up in the limb.
In a sense, then, you can think of aim assist as compensating for the absence of the wrist, as recreating those sort of quick, snappy correctives that the thumb, by its very nature, struggles to produce.
So if an enemy is right there, when I flick with my arm, I obviously want to be as close as I can to that, but that's where the arm and wrist hybrid comes from, right? Is you have a range of control, and so even if he's here and I flick to there with my arm, see how fast my correction was? So he's here, I flick with my arm, I'm still on the spot I want to aim, because that's my range of control.
Because of this, aim assist was, and always will be an indispensable learning tool for console-adoring casuals.
Sure.
And to be clear, I don't mean casuals in the derogatory sense. I mean actual controller-wielding children who know nothing about esports. Like Colton.
Flom says the dude's name once, and he thinks he's something.
I think that aim assist is really, really great for the average player, and I think that's probably why it was introduced, because if you come in from, especially people trying to get into games, if you come into a game and you suck at aiming, you are not going to want to play that game anymore. True. So I think that a lot of the reason the aim assist is so important is because it creates such a great playing experience for so many people. And I definitely, when you're looking at the upper echelons of pro play, that's where you got to start to think, is it necessary? And I think that if you really want to get into it, I would say probably take it off. If you are as good, if you're the best of the best, you probably don't need it. And if you are best of the best, let's see how good you are without it.
That's so stupid.
That said, eventually, aim assist also became a bit of a crutch.
It's not.
Even for competitors.
It's not.
People told me to take off aim assist, and I know so many people have done this no aim assist stuff.
Watch this.
But, I think I haven't done it per se. I'm about to throw up because that was awful.
If you don't know who Pomage is in the top right here, he is one of the best Call of Duty players, pub stompers. He doesn't miss. He doesn't miss with a sniper. He doesn't miss with any gun. So of course, it's like, yeah, when you turn aim assist off, he's gonna start missing. because it's a necessity to have aim assist on a controller. It's not because it's a crutch. It's because it's necessary. It just is. Like I said, try shooting your teammates, and it's just not gonna happen.
Whoa.
Controller players have aim assists. PC players have the extra muscles in their wrist, their elbow, and their shoulder to compensate for the assists that the controller players have. It's balanced.
This is bullshit, dude.
The thing is, for a long time, the ubiquitousness of aim assist from an esports perspective wasn't that big of a deal. Since console and PC esports were kept separate and everyone in the former was using a controller, there were no unfair advantages per se, since everyone had access to said assist. And then, in the late 2010s, crossplay came along. Before long, you had heavily populated battle royale extravaganzas, such as Fortnite, Warzone, and Apex Legends, in which
what cracks me up is when a new game comes out, a new shooting game, and console players hop on it, the first thing they want to do is turn off crossplay because they don't want to play against keyboard and mouse players, because they know that they're going to be able to, outshoot them a lot of times because of how easy it is or how specific a mouse is, and how fast they can get it on ahead. And another thing is that on controller, for most games, you can only go up to 10 sensitivity. On a mouse, the sensitivity on a mouse is not really limited to anything. It's on you how fast you can spin your mouse.
Teams and controllers were facing off against one another in not only casual settings, but competitive ones. And it was in that latter context, kids, where things started to get a little bit heated.
I've watched you try to L2 spam and it doesn't work, and then you start L spamming and just literally aiming and you're zooming in on it. I don't know, you're high,
the first game, you're telling me that the new one is broken. Now you're telling me that you're watching me and it doesn't work. You gotta pick one, homie. You can't just say it works and it doesn't work. My aim, I'm out people all day, boy. I've been just destroying people with L2.
You see, on the one hand, you can't take away console players' aim assist, since, well, for starters, it's a part of their game. They learned to play with it. What's more, in the vast majority of circumstances, they need it in order to stand a chance against mouse aimers. The issue is that
we need it to stand a chance against PC players. I don't like the way he said it. Is he wrong? Not necessarily, because what I said is aim assist is equivalent to the muscles that PC players have over just the one in each thumb for controller players. Now, I've played PUBG on console, which doesn't have aim assist, and I was pretty good at it. So, while I do say that if you turn aim assist off, like, it's just over for controller players, it might be possible to, to hit our shot. I don't know. It just depends. If there's a way to turn it off in Halo, I would test it. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that goes into a topic like this. But at the bottom line is that, it's fair. PC players have their advantages and controller players have theirs. But they equal out. There's nothing wrong with Xbox and PC players going at it in Halo Infinite esports.
Soon as a PC player dies to what is essentially a glorified aimbot, they're gonna feel cheated.
Bro,
what? 100 scope.
Hold on, let me watch that.
Bro,
what? 100 scope. Dude, controller, man, like, it's just hacking, bro. Like, it's actually just hacking.
You get no scope? Watch this.
Bro.
Watch this stupid clip of Summit.
Like,
watch this.
It's actually just hacking.
Okay. He's basically a one-shot bottom red on Zealot on Halo Reach. Watch. He misses 1, 2, two
Sick,
he
dude.
misses both shots.
Bro.
He was already weak going up against a full shield player.
Sick, dude.
Bro, it's like when you're up against the pressure of somebody who can consistently 5-shot that fucking hard, aiming doesn't always come that super great.
Red flag.
I'm done with it.
And then he
It's
uninstalls
done, This game sucks, huge wiener. I'm super fucking over it.
The question, of course, is in a competitive context where crossplay is a thing, is using aim assist cheating?
Nope.
Yes?
Nope.
I mean, I'll put it this way.
Not even
It's a
close.
shitload closer to cheating than it is to not cheating.
The whole
No,
point of
it actually
competition is like fair play, you know, competitive integrity, right? So if a mouse and keyboard isn't fair against a controller, or
Yes.
vice versa, because they both have their pros and cons, they
Exactly.
shouldn't
They both have their pros and cons, and they balance out.
exist in the same world. It's really that simple. The fact that people are arguing.
You haven't even used a controller in your life. You said that you haven't even played on a console. So how, like, I've played on PC and I played on both. You've only played on one. How the hell can you say that?
against any of that is crazy to me.
Now,
It means
is
your
it true
take
that
is
there are
invalid.
certain controller players who are so nutty that they actually don't need aim assist? Yes. My boy Priest, for instance, stepped
Watch. Watch. They throw this clip in here saying that, oh, there's controller players that don't need aim assist. And then they just show some random Rainbow Six Siege clip of him getting a two-piece when the guys are just, like, standing, like, clotted up. Like,
onto the
Watch
stage
this.
of the
This
Raleigh
is the
Major
stupidest
back in
example
August of
they could've shown for
2019, played in the Creator Cup, and squared up
This is dumb.
against Shroud on LAN with the controller. And no, he wasn't using aim assist.
This is for all the console players at home right now. You can tell all your
Watch
PC friends to shut their mouth. You can possibly win out this gunfight. It's going to be a quick rotation. He had the skeleton key pressuring through. Doesn't have.
Like they're just basically standing still. Like, that doesn't prove that controller players don't need aim assist to play. That's so dumb.
Time in! No! This gunfight is going to be a quick
Wait, what time?
rotation. He had the skeleton key pressuring through. Doesn't have time in.
Oh, so close. He had the angle and everything.
Like, that was nothing.
The issue is that such phenoms are so few and far between that you could never in good conscience balance an entire esport around them. In Call of Duty, for instance, aim assist is pretty much intrinsically linked to the mechanics of the franchise. Even the game's most cracked killers rely on it to land nutty shots.
In the sky.
I don't know about that.
Straight ahead. I'm about to beam him real quick. He's right here. Live
Okay.
mark. Broke him. He's gone forever.
Like, that's not even aim assist. Look.
Straight ahead. I'm about to
He's
beam him
just
real quick.
leading
He's
his
right
shots.
here. Live
Okay.
mark. Broke him. He's gone forever.
I've shot.
So
I
if
play
aim assist
Warzone.
is indeed paramount to cheating vis-a-vis crossplay, and you can't get rid of it whole hog since the casuals need it, what's the solution? Well, it's actually very simple. Take it out of competitive.
Or maybe you should just play against Xbox players in a competitive setting in an eSport tournament and just accept that sometimes we're better than you.
I've always been like this, and I've always said there shouldn't be aim assist or controllers or whatever.
There should.
In tournaments.
There should.
Like, you shouldn't mix it.
You've never
Either
used
you
a controller,
go
Shroud. You've never
only
used a
controller,
controller.
or you go only PC.
This isn't some hot, spicy, revolutionary take, but apparently it begs repeating. If controllers are ever up against keys, and any amount of money is on the line,
It'll be a fair
aim assist
battle.
should categorically be taken out of the equation.
It'll be a fair battle.
If a Joe Nobody me comes into play against mouse aimers and I have my steroid aim assist on and I can
Steroid aim assist, dude. If you're a John Nobody and you come in, you're gonna lose because you don't know the maps, you don't know the positioning, you don't have enough experience on the game.
that should never happen. So there's got to be some way to adjust the degree based on.
He's basically saying there's no legit way ever that a controller player will be able to outskill a PC player as long as aim assist exists.
You know, someone's level of skill and who on earth knows how to do that.
Look, the reality is that if you're gonna compete in a shooter at a high level, you gotta learn how to use a mouse and keyboard.
Say that one more time.
In a shooter at a high
knows how to do that.
Look, the reality is that if you're gonna compete in a shooter at a high level, you gotta learn how to use a mouse and keyboard.
You have to use a mouse and keyboard if you're ever going to compete at a high level in a shooter. I'm sorry. T-Squared, Elamite, Legit, Snipedown, Hysteria, any other Halo pros you want me to name? How about the Gears of War pros? Huh? How about the PlayStation Call of Duty pros? Are they not competing at a high level? Excuse me? Do you think that Shroud or freaking any PC player would be able to beat Scumpy, Formal, and other Call of Duty top player? Like, no. No
matter how you slice it, aim-centric esports are just better with a clicker and a clack pad.
Okay, that I agree on. It is easier to aim with a mouse.
There's a reason that they scrapped Siege's Xbox Pro League back in 2017.
They scrapped it because it wasn't bringing in the numbers.
It just isn't fun watching people click heads with inferior hardware. That said, it is never too late to level up. Look at Space Station Gaming's very own Bosco. He won the first 6 Invitational on Xbox, took up mouse and keyboard after his division of Pro League got cancelled, and 3 years later became the first Siege competitor in history to win an Invitational on both PC and console.
Because it's easier for a controller player to come over to PC.
So, as condescending as this may sound, I say it in earnest. Console players, switch to PC as soon as you can and start practicing. Most of you are young.
I am trying to get a PC so I can do the Switch, but just because games run better
enough that you'll be nutty before you know it. And mouse users, stop demonizing your stick-thumbing brethren. Are there certain annoyances surrounding aim assist? You bet your ass there are.
Not really.
But that isn't controller players' fault. It also doesn't change the fact that, maligned as it is, this mechanic played a vital role in turning shooters into the wildly popular pastime they are today. Like it or not, turning shooters into the wildly popular pastime they are today.
Oh,
like it or not, turning
Oh, I didn't realize he was missing his round.
Shooters into the wildly popular pastime they are today. Like it or not, turning shooters, maligned as it is, this mechanic played a vital role in turning shooters into the wildly popular pastime. They played a vital role in turning shooters.
He has his index finger. His thumb is. Okay, I don't know how he's doing that.
Into the wildly popular pastime they are today. Like it or not, esports owes a great deal to aim assist. So instead of berating its constituents,
no, esports owes a great deal to Halo, Call of Duty, and Gears of War.
Help them evolve, guide them, shepherd them, show them some love.
And Major League Gaming.
Because at the end of the day, the goal is to grow competitive gaming for the better.
Exactly, and how you do that is you combine competition. You increase the skill gap by adding more people.
Not gatekeep it.
You don't keep them separate.
You know the best way to BM in Counter-Strike? This comes courtesy.
Alright, so that's that. This video is already 40 minutes long. I don't care how long it is, but yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the whole situation that's going on right now with PC players basically crying and being babies and all that stuff. It's like, just play the game, dude. Like, just play against Xbox players or controller players and beat them. Learn the game and just beat them. Have better strats. Like, because that's what's going to win. If I go to a tournament against PC players and I win the whole thing, it's not because of aim assist. It's because my team's better. It's because I'm better. Like, I just can't. I can't with PC players. It's funny. But I'm going to end the video here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I was going to combine this video into another one because I'm going to be making a video about the Halo Infinite beta and giving my 2 cents on it. but it'd be like over an hour, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna let's see. I think I'm off Thursday, Friday, so probably Thursday I'm gonna be coming out with my thoughts on the Halo Infinite beta, which ends today actually. They might extend an extra day because it was kind of late getting going. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna see you guys later. Don't forget, there is no advantage that a controller player has over a PC player to where a PC player does not have an advantage of their own to counter that. Meaning, it's an equal, fair playing field. The better player that wins is going to win not because of aim assists, not because of the precision that a mouse has, but because they know where to go, they know the routes, they know the positioning, they know the weapon times. You know, it's knowledge, it's experience. That's what wins games. Peace out, guys. Have a good night.